Good evening, and welcome to Masterwork Theatre. I'm Michael Rhombusworth III, and this evening we'll be reading one of history's most celebrated works of literature, the MixPre User Guide, by Sound Devices Limited Liability Corporation. It is a harrowing coming-of-age tale set against the backdrop of the French Revolution. And now, let us begin. Chapter 1, General Description.
The MixPre is a two-channel mixer. It can be powered in two ways, through AC power or by batteries. On the left of the front panel, we find the gain levels for the mixer's two inputs. These knobs control the volume that the MixPre will send out. Each knob is accompanied by an LED that will indicate when clipping has occurred. To the right of the knobs, there are two level meters, which serve to show a visual representation of the volume. Below the knobs are toggle switches that allow you to designate each input to left, right, or center, depending on whether you're recording in mono or stereo. To the right is the tone switch, which generates a 1 kHz tone to use on a slate. Then we find the switches for the brightness, the volume meters, and the tape return. The right side of the panel is home to the headphone connector, which requires a 1/4-inch plug. Beside it is the knob to control its volume, and another LED to indicate clipping. Finally, there's a switch to change between AC and battery power, which we'll cover when we look at the output panel. The input side of the MixPre is where you'll find two balanced XLR inputs. Whether the two inputs are mixed or kept separate is decided by the toggles we saw earlier. To the right is the tape return output with two pins to control the volume. Below, there are three switches. From left to right, they are the phantom power for unpowered mics, the high-pass filter to remove low-end noise pollution, and the limiter to prevent clipping. The limiter also has two pins to adjust the cutoff point. And at last we arrive at the fabled output panel, which contains some of the MixPre's most fabulous features. On the left is the tape return input, which allows the user to monitor an external source as well as the two plugged into the mixer. Then there are two XLR outputs, which are used to connect to the camera, as we'll see in a moment. Finally, we had the power sources, the battery compartment, and the DC input.
What a spellbinding story, but alas, we must break for a short commercial announcement. Hi, Philly J's here to tell you about a new amazing product. It's called MixPre and it'll change your life.
Now, Philly, how simple is it to plug my new MixPre into my camera?
It's just as easy as plugging your XLR cable into the input jack. Just make sure to remember to turn on your phantom power, and if you're using them, the high pass and limiter.
Wow, you're right, that was simple.
But wait, there's more! Next you plug the other XLR cable into the output jack, and then into the input of the camera. Don't forget to make sure the camera input is set to line instead of mic.
Well, that was still pretty simple, I suppose.
But wait, there's more! You want to make sure the volume levels are set properly. Turn on the slate switch and look at the volume meters on the camera's display to make sure they're right in the sweet spot.
But Philly, how can I tell if my mic is panned properly?
Well, as you can hear, I've set my mic to the center channel, and now you've joined me.
Hey, I'm in the center too.
And now I've gone to the left.
And I'm on the right.
But make sure you place the mic properly, or you'll sound like this.
Thanks, Philly.